Hello. So for those who are new here, I have cerebral palsy, inattentive ADHD, major depressive disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. This is week 7, I believe, of being on 12.5 milligrams of the stimulant mydayis, and week 8 being on trintellix, which is an antidepressant, which is supposed to help with the anxiety and depression. I was initially on 5 milligrams of trintellix, and my psychiatrist recently increased my dosage to 10 milligrams. So, yeah, I'm on a stimulant and an antidepressant as well. And then trintellix is also supposed to have positive, like cognitive effects, and it's supposed to help with focus and all of that. Um, I don't know. My mood has been shifting a lot. It's kind of been all over the place. And from what I've learned from my psychology classes that I've taken in the past, your circadian rhythm has a lot to do with your mood. So, your internal clock, right? And so, for the past week or so, I have been going to sleep really, really late. Well, not like super late, like around midnight, catching up on projects and work and all that. And so it's really throwing off my sleep schedule, which in turn messes up my circadian rhythm, which I'm sure is messing with my moods and all that. Um, and so I don't want to say that the antidepressants aren't working or that the stimulant isn't helping, um, because I think that I'm probably just messing with my mood by not getting enough sleep and not having a consistent sleep schedule, because that really does affect your mood a lot. And also, I wanted to talk about how I just I'm hyper focused. Have you guys ever had like, hyper focus is a thing with ADHD, right? So we like tend to focus on one thing and we could go for days or weeks or months on that. So it's been over a month now that I think I'm pretty much hyper focused on uploading YouTube videos to my other channel, which is like my graphic design slash Cricut slash t-shirt making tutorial channel. I became monetized on that channel last year in September. And for those of you who don't know, in order to be monetized on YouTube, you have to have a minimum of 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers, and then YouTube will start paying you for your videos. Um, really, it's the ads on those videos that get you money, and it's not very much money. It's very much passive income. But one of my New Year's resolutions for this year was to start earning more passive income. And I feel like during the year, I don't really have time to like sit and make videos and edit them and upload them. And so after I graduated back in like early May, I told myself I was going to start uploading more YouTube videos, and I have. I've been uploading like graphic design tutorials, t-shirt making tutorials, and everything, which is great. But I'm at the point where this past month, I think I've uploaded like 12 videos, and that's like it's a lot of my time, and not that it's not a good thing, but I think I'm hyper focusing on the wrong thing. And I think like it's so exhilarating to post a video and then to see how much your income increases just from that video in the next couple of weeks, which isn't much. It's like pennies on the dollar, right? But it's almost like it's become either addictive or I'm just hyper focused so much on posting videos on YouTube nonstop. And at first it was great. And I know that this will increase my passive income for sure, which is good, for my future and all that. But I need to I'm neglecting other things. I'm neglecting like doing laundry, cleaning my room. Um, my graduate program, which I recently got accepted to, gave us a to-do list that we have to complete over the summer before the graduate program starts in August. So like get certain clearances, like a TB clearance and a life scan, so get fingerprinted. I have to get CPR certified. There's just this really long list of things that I have to do over the summer before my program starts in August. And I think I'm just so hyper focused on posting videos nonstop that it's been taking up all of my time and energy. And so, yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced something that you're just so focused on that it consumes you day and night. And that's, I think, what's happening with me and my YouTube videos on my other channel. Um, it's definitely an ADHD thing or a neurodivergent thing for sure. So I don't know. I guess I have to break myself out of that loop, right? Another thing that I wanted to talk about is that I recently had an appointment with my psychologist. So I see a psychiatrist once a month. So that's for like my medication, right? So she checks up on my medication and asks how I'm doing, and if we need to change my medication or increase or decrease the dosage, then we'll do that. And appointments with her are typically less than like 10 minutes long, and it's all through video chat. So it's all through telehealth. And then my psychologist, so my therapist that I see monthly, I talk to her for about 45 minutes a week, one session weekly. And I hadn't talked to her in a couple of months because I don't know, I tend to do that sometimes. I'll go very consistently, and then for whatever reason I'll miss one or two sessions and I just won't go. And I think that's also very much an ADHD thing, and not being able to like stay consistent with appointments and things that you're supposed to do. But I recently called to make an appointment with her, and I had my second session with her this past week after I hadn't talked to her for a couple months. And I was talking to her about how no matter how much I accomplish and no matter how much I do, and no matter how much I exceed my own expectations and other people's expectations of what I'm supposed to be doing, or what they thought I could accomplish or what I thought I could accomplish, it feels like it's never enough, not for other people, but for me. Like I never feel confident or capable or competent enough. And I'm great with kids and I love working with kids. And that's part of why I chose this career of speech and language pathology. And I feel so at ease working with kids. But when it comes to talking to other adults and interacting with other people my age, I tend to struggle with that a lot. I get really nervous, like immediately when because currently I'm not working as a speech pathologist, but I am working part-time as a reading specialist, and I go into people's homes and I work with their kids for an hour to an hour and a half at a time, teaching them literacy. And sometimes sessions take place at the library, and the point is that for the most part, they'll just leave me to do my job. They'll walk out of the room and we'll have our session, and then when my session's over, I'll leave. But when I'm approached by one of the parents, and they ask me something about like their kid's progress or whatever, anything at all in general, I tend to freeze up. Now, I'll answer their question, and I think I'm actually really good at hiding the fact that I'm nervous on the spot when I have to interact with my students' parents. But I'm not confident, and I don't think I come off as confident. And on the inside, I feel like a rush of like that fight or flight response. Like I'm so anxious and nervous and scared, right? Like fear just comes rushing through me whenever I'm addressed by another adult and I have to like respond to them or talk with them. And I don't feel this way with kids, just with other people my age or older people. It's almost like something about them makes me feel much, much smaller than I am, and makes me feel like I'm not competent or capable. And I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I have no confidence in myself as an adult. Um, and I feel part of it is probably an imposter syndrome type thing, right? Because I've only been working this job for like, I started last year in September, so it's been less than a year. And I have a bachelor's degree in communication sciences and disorders with a minor in psychology, and I used to volunteer tutor, and I did that for over 2 years, working with kids K through 12. So it's not like I don't think that I'm not qualified to do the job that I'm doing, because obviously, if the recruiter felt I wasn't qualified, they wouldn't have hired me, right? I just don't feel like I'm a competent or capable adult. Um, I feel like a child when I'm around other adults or when I have to talk to them or address them. And I know a lot of that has to do with social anxiety. And I think that feeling is very much contributes and triggers my social anxiety, because I think that if I felt competent and capable in my own skin as an adult, I think that I would feel a lot less anxious about talking to people and being around people, but I don't. And I just and then somehow I don't know how it turned into this, but as I was talking to my therapist about this, we brought up the subject of my disability, which is cerebral palsy. Even though it's pretty mild, I still limp, so you could very much tell by the way that I walk that I have uh, I don't know necessarily a disability, because people have seen me limp and then they'll ask me if I hurt my leg or something, but that there's something, right, by the way that I walk. And somehow that conversation about me feeling incompetent and incapable turned into the way that people view me with cerebral palsy, and the way that when people ask me um, about my condition, like I'm currently working with twins. And so I work with one of the twins for an hour and 15 minutes, and then I'll work with the other twin almost immediately after. So the twins' grandmother, who is their caregiver, I think the second or third session that I went in there, she noticed that I was limping when I got up to get my stuff and the session was over. And I was walking towards the door and I said, "Thank you, see you next time." And then she's like, "Oh, are you okay?" Um, I don't exactly remember if she asked me about my walking, but the way that she was looking at me, I could kind of tell that she was referring to how I was limping. And I just kind of said, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just I have cerebral palsy." And she said, "Oh, so does my oldest grandson." And so then it turned into like this conversation about the fact that we should exercise a lot more than we do. And she asked me if I wore leg braces and all that. But when she asked me, "Are you okay?" I felt like this influx of emotion, like fear and sadness and um, kind of, I, I don't know how to explain it. I guess, as I've mentioned this in previous videos, growing up, I felt like a lot of the times what other kids and other people would see in me would be just my disability, because as soon as they saw me walk, they would stare at my leg or ask what was wrong with my leg. And it was kind of hard to not feel like that was the only thing that people saw in me. And there's a quote by a famous book, and I don't remember who said it, but it's something like, the worst thing about having a physical disability is that people see it before they see you. And I feel like that very much resonates with me, because growing up, I feel like that's the first thing that people saw in me. And that definitely took a toll on my self-esteem. And so now I'm wondering if that just kind of stuck with me, and maybe that contributes to me feeling incompetent as an adult. I'm just kind of analyzing things, I guess, and trying to go back and see um, where this feeling comes from, because like just talking about it makes me teary eyed. And yeah, so I guess it's something that I'm gonna address with my therapist next session, but I need to get to the point where I feel confident in my own skin, um, and where I know that I'm competent and capable of doing my job. Because even though I think mentally, um, I know, like in my mind, I know that I'm a lot more competent at certain things than other people are. But I just don't feel that way. I feel very small. I feel very incompetent, incapable of like fending for myself, and capable of being like a competent, and stable and self-sufficient adult. I feel very much like a child stuck in an adult's body, just pretending to be an adult and going through the motions, working and paying bills and being a mom and all that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one out there who feels that way, but I'm tired of feeling that way. I Anyway, I guess that's it for now.